Yo, what is up guys, I am Mahi and today we'll take a look at my favorite solo plays on Overpass CT side. These should work in all ranks of CS2 and they are tailored for solo players for pickup games where you cannot trust your teammates and you want to impact the rounds. Now let's kick things off with some short controls. So what you need is a Molotov and some nice spawn somewhere around this area. It doesn't have to be the best spawn, but just some nice spawns overall. And what you do is you left and right click your molly, so both buttons, and then let go as you see the corner of this building. That will explode nicely inside the short pipe. It will help you get short control and you can smoke this off. Now you have multiple options. You can either climb up, open the door, which I forgot to close, so what you do is you climb up and then you open the door, and now you can help your teammate in connector. And this will give you a lot of map control. It will force the T's to play the map extremities, which solo queue players are typically not good at, and they will typically make a lot of mistakes. It will also open up paths for A, so you can help with balloons control, maybe get some fast flanks if the T's happen to be rushing A and maybe stop the plant. You just have way more options if you control these middle areas of the map. Now, when should you open the door depends on what your teammates and the enemies are doing. If your teammate is basically going crazy in con, if he's challenging a lot, he's trying to fight them, all this stuff, that's when you should open the door as quickly as possible and help your teammates. However, if your teammate is playing further back, he's playing a little bit slower, and the T's are basically pressuring him, then you should wait for the T's to be around this area, because that's when the T's are around this area, that's when they'll be focusing towards the stairs. And that's when you want to open the door, because they will be facing away from you and you can get double kills easily. You can hide, and now you can check the smoke that you threw earlier to see if anybody's trying to come through the smoke or whatever. Now you don't have to always smoke off your molly, so what you can do is, if you have done this play multiple times already and the T's have learned that you smoke it off, they have learned that you don't push, then you can try peek and you can get easy kills here when the T's don't expect you. Now for most of you in lower and average ranks, this play alone is gonna make a huge difference, but the T's can counter it. They can smoke off your molly and rush through it. So if you notice that there's only one good player who likes to extinguish your molly and contest you short every round, what you can do is you can add a flashbang to this. You know he's gonna come through the molly anyways with the smoke, so you bounce a flash off of this wall, which is gonna pop up here and blind the T. So while he smokes this off, your flash will pop here, and now he's all blind and you will get control of short anyways. And basically you made him throw the smoke for you that you wanted to throw anyways. And now you can use his smoke to help again fight connector and whatnot. Now notice when I swing with the flashbang here, I keep pushing. I don't stop here. Instead I swing, I push, I go all the way to this corner here. And this is for two reasons. First of all, any enemies who like to come through the smoke, they typically come along the back wall here, and they will be pre-aiming towards this area. So now you are kind of in an off angle, they won't expect you here and they have to flick a lot. And also the enemy is running basically straight at you. If you get yourself in this corner, they just run through the smoke directly at you, and it's such an easy kill for you. Whereas if you were standing like here, now they would be swinging sideways and you have to trace them with your crosshair and all that stuff. It gets a lot harder to get the kill. But there's an even more important aspect here, which is isolating the fight. So if I were to fight the guy here, I would also be vulnerable to connector door. So anybody who would open the door would see me immediately and always get the trade kill, maybe sometimes kill me before I even get his teammate. So instead of us being in the very obvious spot and dying immediately, now the opponent has to come out from connector and also swing all the way up here to see us. And by forcing him to do all of this, we are buying ourselves an extra few hundred milliseconds. And that just might be enough to first kill his teammate, then turn around and counter swing, because we hear the connector door opening obviously. And by counter swinging, we are throwing off the opponent's aim. He's going to be pre-aiming us in this corner here, and now he has to flick as well, and this will give us a favorable fight. So instead of us being afraid of this 1 versus 2, oh no, I cannot go short alone, we instead learn all these minor details of the fight. We'll learn how the opponents think and how they like to move, what are their options, and then we counter them and we isolate the fight. So we don't take 1 versus 2, we take 2 1 versus 1s, both of which kind of favor us, at least a little bit. And yeah, this is how you can carry in solo queue, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, and then we're gonna move on to more great place. Now sometimes even that might not be enough, and let's say the enemies like to attack with 3 people and flashbangs, and just isolating the fights isn't enough. That's when we'd like to rather try to wallbang them, create some cheap damage, and maybe get some kills even. So what you do is you still molly it off just like before, then you find this corner of the big tile here, and then you spam basically through the wooden area here, close to the sign, but make sure not to spam through the sign. That's gonna deal way less damage than spamming through the wooden plank here. That's gonna deal a lot of damage to anybody coming out from short pipe. You can also spam towards connector by finding this pillar here and then crouching and shooting between the yellow sign and the pillar here. And basically what this does is the yellow sign gives you cover from the enemy, so if they try to shoot back, most of their bullets will hit the yellow sign by accident and they will not be able to hit you through the small gap. Meanwhile, you can see where the gap is and it's way easier for you to spam them, and you can move a little bit along the back pillar here. This is going to deal a lot of damage to anybody coming out from connector, and you will be mostly safe. Now when it comes to monster, you don't have quite as many aggressive options due to the reason that the monster pipe is so long and pushing through it is much harder than contesting short. However, it's still possible, especially if you have been applying a lot of pressure short and you realize that the enemies are neglecting monster. You have multiple options. You can sometimes, again, this is maybe once a game at most, you can just try peek monster if you feel like they don't have AVP, and see if anybody is trying to contest you. And if not, you can just like try walk through monster pipe, clear all this area, and now you have so much information. More often than not, you will find somebody here, and even if you don't find anybody, you can call B empty. You can tell your teammates to rotate A, you will clear short from the behind if there's any enemies hiding back here, and you just basically won the round for your team. Now if you truly believe that there's nobody holding you, you can try doing the same play with faster tempo, maybe throw a flashbang out here and then you can just try peek monster and just run through the pipe and catch them by surprise. And again, you need to clear all of this, and now you can maybe try doing some fast flanks. They will not expect this so quickly, or again you can tell your teammates to go A. However, both of these pushes without proper utility are very high risk. They work like once a game at best, and you need to have the gut feeling that it's gonna work. There's no enemies going to be holding you due to how little pressure you've been applying monster and how much they have been neglecting monster as well. Now a much more common and less risky play is for you to first catch the rush, so maybe molly it off, make sure they don't push you, and then you can smoke behind your own molly and maybe even throw a pop flash of some kind and clear monster pipe with proper utility. This is how you ensure that you don't die. This is a low risk play, and then now you can react to whatever is happening on the map. But if you realize that the enemies are maybe pushing 3A and there's one more con and there's only one guy B, it's rather unlikely that he's gonna be expecting you, and you can try pushing through the smoke, either just waiting for the smoke to fade as I did here, or just walk through the smoke if you're feeling gutsy and you have a gut feeling that the opponent is probably towards short area instead of holding you in monster. Now while doing this lower variation of the monster push, I would not try flanking through T-base anymore at this time, because the enemies are going to attack A and you will be late more often than not, or even worse, the enemies will come back to B through connector, and now you will look like a fool sitting in T-base when the enemies attack the very side you left from. So instead, most of the time you want to clear short pipe first, then you want to make sure there aren't any lurkers on short here, and now you can tell your teammates to stack A. Just go away, everybody. I have full B control here. And even now you have those fast flanks available through connector here while stopping any rotates towards B side while getting fast information. And this is a much more consistent way of winning rounds instead of trying those crazy flanks and then being late most of the time. Now as the AVP player, you can try some of these crazy plays such as mollying up short and peeking from above your own molly. However, you might get killed from behind if the enemies rush through connector, so these are very risky. Something I would like to mention though is avoid sitting back here doing nothing basically, unless the T's force you back. So if they throw a lot of util and you have no other option, then sure, you have to sit back. But even then, and especially if the enemies don't apply a lot of pressure, you should try getting a control of these angles here. Get the deep angles, get the deep information. Don't be afraid of the duel. That's how you improve, by taking the duel 1,000 times. Eventually you will start winning it, and that's how you climb. You can also, if you don't see anybody, you can go for even more information. Jump over, clear this, go close, clear this. Just get the deep information. That's how you impact the rounds and win a lot more in solo queue. Now for connector, we have a few nice plays, assuming you had a nice spawn towards connector in the first place. Always try to play around spawns if your teammates allow you to and you know these aggressive plays. So in connector, you can do a dry peek, you can try catch somebody off guard. This works especially well if you have the AVP, so you just peek somebody, get a kill, and now you can escape through connector again. And it's a free 5 versus 4 with no downside, basically. You didn't waste anything trying this, it's just a free attempt to get a free kill here. Another nice option is for you to smoke it off. This is very common. Make sure they don't push through your smoke, and now you have two aggressive options. You can either swing short if you feel like the enemies are distracted, if there's only one guy and he's looking towards B, or if there are multiple people and they are having a fire squad against your teammate right now. Like, you need to swing as they are shooting basically and catch them off guard, and you can get double kills, even triple kills if the enemies are distracted by your teammates. And then one more option is for you to nade your own smoke, and this will allow you to get some cheesy peeks, especially now that CS2 is still rather new. But even if it wasn't, there are people always in lower ranks especially not ready for these plays. Now when it comes to aggressive fountain plays, as always, you want a nice spawn, so something around this area, and ideally you have a Molotov most of the time, maybe a flashbang and a smoke as well. Like, the more util you have, the more angles you can eliminate and the less risk you have for multiple enemies to fight you at the same time. So I have a guide on this Molotov. You can find another lineup if you want, but this is the one I use. It's good enough for me. And then you typically want to combo a flashbang with this, and boom. They cannot basically stand here on the right, and you only have to worry about this little, like, this molly blocks off. It either forces them here, and now they can't see you, or they have to sit back here and they can't really see you either, or they have to try and climb up here and push along the wall, which leaves them vulnerable to flashes. And it's kind of easy for you to just kill them because they cannot do any sideways movements due to the Molotov being here. So that's how you can contest this area quite easily. Now typically the T's won't be running up this wall, instead they will choose one of the other options. So either they will wait for your molly or they will push up towards playground. And that's where you need individual skill, and you need to listen what's happening, you need to isolate the fights, you need to be dynamic, and you have so many options here. You can, if they smoke it off, that's an option as well. They smoke it off and run through the smoke. You need to fight those guys off first, so make sure you don't get killed from here. And you have a little bit of time to fight them freely without being able to get flanked from behind, because it takes them some time to run here. And if they're running full speed, you will hear exactly when they come. If they're walking, then they will come a little bit later, and you have a little bit more time to fight off the stairs area. And then if in the middle of your fight, basically, they will try and flank you, you can try and use the fountain itself as a cover and try to fight this angle next. So maybe you kill somebody who's running through the smoke, then you hide behind the fountain, crouch, and kill somebody here, and now there's another guy coming through the smoke. So you can basically do like 1 versus 3 kills here if you get a little bit lucky and shoot really well. Another common option is you kill somebody and then you move back to this angle. They won't expect you here, and now you can fight this guy solo, so you isolate the angles. And once you kill this guy, maybe you can fight this angle again, or you can go the other way around, and now you can fight this guy from here while being isolated from playground. And notice how I checked connector here. So if the fights take a little bit of time, if you're kind of late and the enemies came a little bit late, you need to be afraid of connector flank as well. So you have a lot of space to move around, you have a lot of angle to choose from, but you can also get shot from multiple different directions, and you need to be ready for all of those and listen what's happening at all times, alright? Now that's when you get attacked from multiple angles, multiple guys coming at you, and you need to be ready and dynamic and isolate everything. But quite often there's only going to be like one guy or none, and that's when you have two nice options. So if you don't see anybody, if you don't hear anybody, you don't think they extinguished it, maybe there's one guy playground, maybe not even that, then you can smoke off your molly. You can even nade here. You have a time, because if there's somebody coming, it's gonna take him a while. And now you can start pushing up. And if you hear them running on playground, you might want to choose an angle such as this. And this is most of the time an easy kill. They won't clear this angle. But if you don't hear them running, you might want to sneak past, like behind them, and make sure there's nobody here. And then you go back, and now you have a nice flank. So if you hear them if you hear a lot of stuff on B and connector, you can start flanking. If you don't hear anything, you can just sit here and tell your teammates to be careful on B. They're most likely B, and as soon as you hear something, you can start flanking. So that's the aggressive option, where you push towards this area and you need to fight off playground first, and then you can start thinking about flanking. The other option, if you don't see or hear anybody, is to go this direction and make sure to fight this, make sure you listen, and if you don't hear anything, then you can start pushing up and clearing all of this. And again, it seems like this is all empty, and just make sure to clear behind this annoying wooden plank here, and boom, you have a lot of information here. One last time, clear the fountain area so that you guys didn't like walk around the wall, and boom, it's empty. Now again, the same thing, you can tell your teammates A is clear, I can flank if they start shooting. Like, you have a lot of options here, or you can just camp if it's quiet towards B as well, and you are expecting they might come a little bit late. So that's one option. Go for the aggressive play, clear everything, go for a flank if they go B. I like doing this most when you have a guy in connector or like behind you holding connector. That's when you can aggress all of this solo without having to worry about connector all the time. But if your teammate is like playing further back or whatever, then typically I don't like pushing too far up, because now they could come up from connector. Like, if I'm all the way up here and they come up from connector, they can go to A and plant A, and we lose all control. So when connector is vulnerable, when the enemies could be coming away from connector, that's when I don't push up, I don't start flanking. Instead, I stay here. You can fight this angle, and you can fight connector from here really well as well. Typically, people don't even come A late, so they don't come from T stairs, I mean. They either go B or they come late from connector, and this is such a nice angle for connector, because when the enemies are coming up from con, they might clear this, but once they are up here, they have to worry about these A angles, and they are not going to check this angle here or any of that stuff. And it's deep enough towards the T base, that like towards the T area, that even if you like see them here, your teammates will still have a time to rotate from B to A, and you can be an annoyance here. You can get a kill or even double kill, and then you can like disappear, maybe check this, maybe even check this, and like, or you can disappear towards long area and just try to get another kill, 1 or 2 or 3 more kills, and finally when you eventually die, your teammates are already all around the enemies and they have no map control. So just be an annoyance here. So this is really useful when your teammate isn't playing aggressive in connector, and you have to worry about connector and A as well. And now if you want to carry really hard, you can just tell your teammates to go all B, just stack B with 4 guys. I have all of A. Typically, if they come late through stairs, you will hear them running, and you will be ready to fight them off here. You will get double kills, triple kills, and again, fast rotates, fast information. So this is how you solo carry through fountain. If you have connector control, go for the flanks, go for the aggressive plays. But if you're kind of solo, like your teammate is maybe dead, or he's like completely clueless and he's on long when they couldn't even be there in the first place, then you kind of have to stay here, because otherwise you will leave the route empty for the enemies to get up from con, then go A through banana, and now you're on the other side of the map when they plant the bomb A, and that's the last thing we want to do. So you kind of have to evaluate whether flanking is realistic, or if you should just hold this side of the map and then tell your teammates, hey, go B, I got this. Now the other option we have is going through the bathrooms. So here we would like to have a teammate who knows the molly. If he doesn't, then that's fine. We can do this without the molly as well, but ideally you would have a teammate throw the exact same molly we used last time. But here you find this bin, and then you throw your smoke a little bit above it, and it's gonna bounce over to these stairs, and now you can climb up, and you can either look for peeks over the smoke here, or you can use the smoke as a cover to move here in the first place. And now you have this fight. You can peek here with a timing to get a kill here, and again isolate yourself away from the trade and fight this guy solo, and now maybe you can go look for the trade kill here. So again, this is a way to isolate the fights, be a dynamic solo player, just get those 1 versus 3 possible openings here, and then you can even get away safely sometimes. So that is possible here. And again, if you don't see anybody, the exact same applies. You go looking for map control, and then you either go for the flank or you just stay here for extended periods of time. This also works really well with the AVP, so if you like to go for AVP picks, you can smoke this off just like I showed you before, and now you can look for a pick above the smoke here. And if you find a kill, you just get away, nice. But if you don't see anybody, if they're not pushing you, that's when you can go for an angle such as this, so you can back off a little bit, get to safety, get a pick here, and now you can always escape. Just be careful, they could be coming up from conquest quite swiftly, so you can transition to angles such as this afterwards. So yeah, that's how I would pressure fountain if going through banana or bathrooms area. Just remember that when you use this smoke, there is no molly up here unless your teammates used it, so they could be rushing you quite quickly. This is especially with the AVP, they could be pushing all the way up here already, so you need to be careful when doing this. Now last but not least, we have the long push, which is extremely powerful when you have been pressuring them a lot around fountain and around this pillar area, because now they will either react by just giving up, by not even trying to contest this, and then you can just do this every round and you can just get more and more aggressive and like run here like an idiot without utility, and it's still gonna work because they have mentally given up. Or they will place, they will be even more careful, they will place more people here, they will have 3 guys hunting you and they will be ready for the fight, and it's gonna get hard to do this anymore. You cannot keep doing this if they have 3 guys attacking you every single round. So what you could do is go towards the B this time and flank them through monster or whatever. Or what we could do is realize that when they are super focused on you being here, they are not focused on you being on long. So what you do if you have a nice long spawn and you haven't been playing a lot of long, your teammates haven't been playing a lot of long either, and you have been pressuring them around fountain area, and they are ready for you, then they will not be ready for you to do this play where you push along this back wall and you're ready for the fight. You find somebody, you kill him, you get away. Or if you didn't take any damage, you kill them, you kill another guy, whatever. Maybe you don't find anybody and you just keep pushing here and you clear it all. Alright, that's fine as well, because notice where we are. We are right back where we wanted to be in the first place, and now if your teammate is in connector maybe, that's when you go for the flanks. If you're solo here, that's when you go here, and now you hold all of A alone and tell your teammates to go B. Ideally, you go through playground and clear everything. Obviously, you would be walking. I'm just no clipping and running here to make it faster. And then you end up here, and again, you evaluate, are they pressuring B? Should I go for the flank? Or should I just camp here if they are probably holding me? So those are my favorite plays. I hope you enjoy them. These will help you in solo queue. These will consistently put you into situations where not only you can carry, but you get the fights, which means you will improve faster than if you were to sit back passively, not shooting at the enemies, not placing yourself in fast situations. So this is good for your improvement as well. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. I will have similar videos on other maps as well. And make sure to check out my Inferno video, which is already out. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.